Hey guys, Diamond Duchess here. Welcome to my channel. Okay, or welcome back to my channel if you're coming back for more. Welcome to Freaky Friday. This is a new thing I'm doing on Fridays. I don't know whether to call it an episode. It's where where I will talk about phenomenon. You know, like ghosts and aliens and Bigfoot and all those fun things. And just experiences people have had. Today, we are talking about the Min Min light. And that... Sorry, I'm distracted already. So yes, the Min Min light. It's an Australian phenomenon. It usually happens in Queensland between Winton and... I've got all my... Winton and Booyah. Not necessarily has to be around there, but that's where most of the activity is. What is the Min Min light? The Min Min light is a light. Nobody knows what it is exactly except for a ball of light. Okay, let me get set up here. 9, we want 9. And I'm just going to work out of this for now. So, the Min Min light. It was first reported in 1918 by a stockman between Booyah and Winton, which is about 2 hours from where I am actually. Winton's about an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road. I've never seen one. I would like to see one. But, yeah, so the first reported case was in 1918, but there are stories from a lot earlier than that, like back in the 1800s. It's an Aboriginal... The Aboriginals say that it's their ancestors that come back, I think. And legend says if you try to follow a Min Min light, it will lead you to your death. You will never be seen again. That most likely that's because it happens out in... Mainly you hear a lot of people that are driving or camping in the middle of nowhere. So obviously if you're going to pull off of a night time, obviously it doesn't happen during the daytime. If you pull off of a night time to follow a Min Min light, of course in the middle of the bush, of course you're going to get lost. And trust me, in the Australian outback you ain't going to be found easy. So of course nobody's ever going to see you again if you get lost out there. And it's not hard. It really isn't hard to get lost out there. Everything looks like everything else. There's, yeah. So I've got a few freaky stories for you. My mum has actually seen one. I'll tell you about that story. And there's a few others. I think there's another story I have that I came across when I was looking all this up. And I'll tell you about that one. I'm not mentioning names. Just for privacy's sake. And yeah, but if you look it up you'll be able to find, except for my mum's story, that's not online, but you'll be able to find the stories online about the Australian Min Min light. So it's usually described as a ball of light or a disc-shaped light that glows very brightly. What am I after now? 15. and it'll hover above the ground or above the horizon, depending on how close you actually see it. They don't make any noise, and there are a few theories that have tried to debunk what it is. And there's one so far that he might be onto something, but then again, he may not be. But we'll talk about that as well. So, grab whatever it is you're working with, or on, or you just want to sit and listen, that's fine. And let's get into it. Right, now I've got all my notes off to the side, so I may have to stop and start to read. So they will give off enough light to light up objects close to them. Some witnesses say the light will approach multiple times, like it'll come close and then stop and then come close again, and then it'll just disappear, like it'll retreat. Like I said, makes no noise. Some people say that they've been driving in the outback of a night time when they see it, and it can literally keep up with the car. In some cases, I read yesterday that it will overtake a car. There was one I read yesterday about, this may not be a min-min, but they thought it was. They were travelling and it overtook their car, from what I can remember reading, and they got to where they were going and they came back out of the room, out of the motel room, I think, to see if they could see it again after they pulled up, and they seen it go along, I think it was a beach or on the river or something, and it disappeared into the water. So that's the first time I've ever heard of that with a min-min light. Like, I've grown up around this area all my life, so it's not uncommon to hear about stories about min-min and what people see and all that. So I'll tell you about Mum's story first. Now, saying about, sorry, I'm probably going to jump backwards and forwards on this. Saying about them being able to keep up with cars and things like that, I read one story, and the lady that was telling the story said that the min-min light kept up with the car, and it was that close that it actually lit up the inside of the car, and they thought it was another car or another vehicle overtaking them, and as it started to overtake, it just went out. It just disappeared. There was nothing there. That to me is a little bit freaky. I don't know about anybody else, but to me that's a little freaky-dicky. But yeah. So I'd be very curious to see one. Actually, next trip I might do. I'll see if Barry wants to go that way, and we'll see if we can see him in there. I reckon that'd be cool. I don't think I've got any really paranormal stories. Oh, I've got a few of my own. I've got like ghost stories. Everybody's got ghost stories. Okay, so on to Mum's encounter with the min-min. Now, this was back in the 1960s. She couldn't remember exactly what year. She was a nanny on a property near Kynuna, which is sort of between Winton and Mount Isa. Now she said that where the property was, there was no one for at least half an hour drive. So you had to drive at least half an hour or more in any direction to reach anyone. Because a lot of people say that it could be someone with a torch, or it looks like someone walking along with a torch or a lantern. But in Mum's case, they were, because she was a nanny at the time on this property, and the owners of the property were home, the husband and wife were home, and Mum said she'd just put the kids to bed. It was about 9 o'clock at night, obviously. And she'd gone to her room, and she said she looked out the window and she could see this light coming down from the hills. Now these hills around where she was, they're about, I asked her this morning how high the hills were around that area, and she, from what she can remember, she said they're at least 3 stories tall. The property was at the base of these hills, so it's not like the hills were off to the distance or anything like that. She said that they were at the base of the hills. Now she said the light was coming down from the hills and came down behind the shearing quarters. Excuse me, I'll go have a drink. So hot today. It's been so hot a lot of the time lately. This is Longreach, it's hot all the time. Anyway, so yeah, it came down from the hills and it was coming down and it went behind the shearing quarters. At that time, she said it was about 30 to 40 metres away, and it got closer. What am I after? T 14. She said it was like someone was carrying a torch, but then they realised that as it got closer they could tell, comparing it to the shearing quarters, that it was about 3 metres off the ground. So it couldn't have possibly been anyone carrying a torch. Plus, you know, they were half an hour away from anyone else. So it's very unlikely that they had someone walking in at like 9:30 of a night time just carrying a torch. Like, that's a bit random. And she said it went behind the shearing quarters and then came back out from behind the quarters. And they watched it for, the whole encounter lasted about 10 minutes. She said it was a solid white light. She said it was about the size of a basketball. She said it was bright. And like I said, 3 metres off the ground, it made no noise. It just bobbed along like it would if someone was carrying a torch, but it was far too high, hovering off the ground for it to be someone with a torch. She said it was moving slowly. It came out from behind the shearing quarters and then started to go back up into the hills, not in the same place that it had come down from. It was going back up into the hills at a different spot. And she said it flickered and then went out. It freaked the hell out of my mum. Now, she wasn't the only one to see it. The people that owned the property, the wife, she had seen it as well. Mum went and got her, and they both watched it, and it freaked them both out. As I can imagine, it freaked me out too. Still want to see one. The only time I've ever heard reports of them hurting anyone is if you try to follow it. That's the only time, and yeah, apparently if you try to follow it, you'll never be seen again. So yeah, that was her encounter. She said it was a warm night. It wasn't a cold night. There was no other noises, so they could tell that it wasn't making a noise. She said she's never experienced anything like it since. That was her first thing she'd ever encountered like that, and she's never encountered anything like it since. And Mum is Mum's, what is she, 74 years old, and I mean, this has stuck with her all these years. That was back in the 1960s, and this has stuck with her ever since. So yeah, that was her story. She used to tell that story to us when we were younger. She's always told this story because she's never been able to figure out what it was. But a lot of people in the outback have seen it. If you go Winton, Bullyway, Mount Isa, all up around there. I think in the Territory, every now and then I think they see one. There's a couple of hypotheses as to what it could be. Hold on, let me get the next colour. Oh, and for those wanting to know, this is Diamond Dots. It's a froggy. It's a 27 by 37 partial, and that's centimetres. So hypothesis, I'm going to have trouble with that word, you watch, is that these lights are a source of bioluminescence. However, a lot of people, like scientists and things like that, have said that it may be like a swarm of bioluminescent insects, bioluminescent animal like an owl or a nocturnal bird or something like that, but nothing has ever been found or reported, no animals like that. Plus, there is no bioluminescent source that is bright enough to match the Min Min. There are other hypotheses, but none that are solid. One report says that a droving team, that they were driving about 1,000 head of cattle. They were going to Julia Creek, and they had encountered Min Mins the first night around 8 p.m. And it's not always the same time that people see them. Like, I've heard about stories about people seeing them at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's not just around a certain time that you see them. It is pretty much as if it's dark, you may see one. So, first night for this driving team, they stopped. It was about 8 p.m. They seen multiple Min Min lights at one time, and they had they started floating and dancing over to where they had the cattle settled for the night. And there was one particular light that had come over, and it was floating above the herd of cattle. Now the cattle weren't bothered by it, which is a bit odd because animals sort of sense these sort of things. But the witnesses said the cattle were not worried about it. That the light sort of danced over the herd of cattle. Cattle weren't worried. It retreated back to the other lights and they all disappeared. They all just floated off. That happened the first night they camped. They never encountered it since. While they were doing their stock route. That was the only time they seen them. They didn't see them again since. They said that they did a couple other runs, stock runs, and they never encountered anything like that again. They said that it was about a metre above the cattle. And it stayed there for 3 to 4 minutes and slowly floated away. Every story seems to be different. No two stories seem to be the same. Same aspects, no noise, floating, dancing, lights. Similar areas, never the exact same area, I guess. Some see them in the distance and they don't ever get close, and yet some say that they see them within a couple of meters away from where they are. And I've just missed a couple of those T's. 14. Let me get these done. I'm trying to get this done and read at the same time. I'm going to have to find a video editor. I still haven't fixed my camera, my photo thingy, what do you call it? Phone, that's it. To download to the computer. So 16. So yeah, the only answer that door just blew shut, scared the bloody bejesus out of me. Fucking heart almost stopped. Oh Lord. Oh. The only answer for these lights come from Jack Pettigrew, who was a professor at the University of Queensland, and he says, now he might be onto something, I don't know, make up your own mind. It's a very technical thing, so but he says he's encountered the Min Min himself. He's seen one himself. So it's not like he's sitting back in an office going, yeah, I can debunk this. So he's seen one himself. He was out, he wasn't looking for the Min Min, he was out studying a nocturnal bird. And he came across a Min Min. I'm not too sure what his story was. From what I could find, it didn't say. He's saying it's called Fata Morgana is what this phenomenon is called, and it's where it's sort of like a submarine periscope, is that what you call it? Where light is refracted and bent, and you get to see something where you are that you wouldn't normally be able to see, because the light has bent the image around objects so you can see it. What have I written here? And it's when the air is cooler on the ground than it is above, and this can cause the light to bend across the atmosphere and create projections of images from hundreds of kilometres away. He actually tested this theory by driving his car 10k. They were camped out wherever, and he actually drove his car about 10k away, and he parked his car behind a hill, and it wasn't a little hill, like a decent sized hill, and he turned his headlights on the car, faced the car towards where they were camped, and the witnesses at the camp said that they actually could see his lights on the car, or light on the car, and he was 10k away, parked behind a hill. It was just the right conditions that this happened, and when he turned his headlights out, the witnesses said the so-called min stopped. So that could be a cause for some of it. But I mean, when you're driving in the middle of nowhere and lights overtake your car, I'm not putting that down to no light refraction. I don't care who you are. That don't make sense to me, you know. And for them to move and then stop and then sort of float away, I guess, you know, that just, to me, that doesn't sound right. There's things that to me still don't add up. I could be very wrong. Now the next morning when this Jack Pettigrew got up after he'd done this experiment, he'd noticed, and this sort of backed up his theory. What am I up to? 5. This sort of backed up his theory. He had walked out of his hotel room or wherever he was staying, and he noticed off into the distance he could see mountains now, or hills, whatever you want to call it. And he actually, the article I was reading, they actually had photos. Now, in the photos, it did actually look like those hills were there. And as the ground warmed up, those hills looked like they were melting into the ground. They got smaller and smaller until there was nothing there. And he had like periodic photos taken as they were sort of, so say that's the horizon, then you've got the hills sort of along there, and they sort of shrunk down and down and down and down and down until there was nothing there. Because he'd seen them and he noticed that they weren't there the day before. So that's what he'd seen with those hills, was this Fata Morgana phenomenon, whatever it is. Well, it's not really a phenomenon because you can explain that one. But yeah, so, and that's what he reckons the min is. But, you know, there's so many things that just, like I said, these things sort of move and stop and change direction, and to me it just doesn't add up. Does not add up. Now, what else have I got? No, that's it. So there are a lot of stories about min around. If you live in the outback in Queensland, chances are you know someone that's seen one. If you haven't already seen one yourself. I've got a massive cat hair there, and I'm not going to be able to get it because I haven't got my tweezers. So yeah, so that's the Min Min. There is one other theory, and it's from an old bushie, and I've heard this one a couple of times too. And this old bushie, he said he'd thought about this for a long time, and with all seriousness, he believes he knows what it is. And when asked, he simply said, it's an emu with a torch up its bum. Oh Lord. So I've heard that one a couple of times now too. Running around, torch up its bum. But yeah, so, you know, the people say they see one, and other reports say that they see multiple lights at a time. My mum's experience, she just seen the one. The one that I just told about the cattle, with the lights, the drovers, they seen multiple lights. And like I said, the one light, you know, if it's the Fata Morgana, F-A-T-A, what did I say? F-A-T-A-M-O-R-G-A-N-A is how you spell it. If it is that, why are the lights acting like as an individual when you see multiple? Don't you think they'd act all together in the same manner? Like I said, with the drover, they seen multiple lights that came close to the cattle, and then it was just one that floated to the middle of the cattle, over the cattle, about a metre or so above the cattle. And, you know, people say that they're bright enough to cast shadows from the objects around them. So it's not like it's a little dull torchlight. It is a fairly bright light. I think it's one of those things you wouldn't be able to tell unless you actually seen one yourself to know whether you really buy into it. But that is our Australian legend, I guess, one of. So yeah, if you have seen one, chuck your story down in the comments, because I would love to read about it. I love this sort of stuff. If not, let me know what you think you'd do. Would you try and figure out what it was? Would you try and get close to it? I know that I wouldn't follow it. Actually, I think there's a song about a Min Min light and a little boy that followed it. I'm sure there was. It used to be on Ranch Club. Ranch Club's an outback radio station thing that they have on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and it's all country music and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure there was a song about a little boy that followed a Min Min light that they used to put on. And I'm pretty sure this boy was never seen again, I think. Some people say that it's just a outback legend that people tell the kids so the kids don't be naughty. You know, like Santa. Don't you play up, the Min Min will come and get you. Which I think Mum used on me once or twice. But anyway, not that I was a bad child. I don't think I was. So yeah, that's the Min Min light, guys. So if you've never heard of that, there you go. So just in summary, basically, it looks like someone's running around with a torch out there. But yeah, they make no noise. they float. I said to Mum when I was asking her about her story, I said, did it seem like it was intelligent, like there was, like it had a purpose, was it looking for something? And she said, no, it's just floating around. Like people say it could be like swamp gases and things like that, but I don't buy into that either. I think that's actually been debunked as well, the whole swamp gas thing. We ain't on a Men in Black episode. So, but it would be very, very curious to see one. I'd like to see one. Let me know if you'd like to see one and what you think you'd do. Righto, so that's it for the Min line. Now, I was hoping, I've got people beeping their horn outside. Why is it? Now this is a phenomenon on itself, in itself. Why is it when you finish with one colour, you double check everything, you know you've got them all, and you get another colour out, and then you find the one you were just working on? Why is that? Tell me. Because I know we all do it. And then you've got to get that colour out, put that on. You think, right, now I'm done. You get a bit further along and then you find it again. Right, videos coming up. So, I've still got that DAC haul video to put up from last week. I will get there, I promise you. Once I sort this phone and this computer out. Guys, it's a hassle. I hate technology. Wait, am I still doing the right? Yes, I am. I hate that you get distracted and you get halfway through and you go back to your symbol and you don't realise, but you're doing a different symbol than what you're meant to be doing, and you got to pick them all off. So I've got a whip and chat Monday. What's in my stash Wednesday, and another Freaky Friday on Friday. Freaky Deaky Friday. If you've got suggestions on what you'd like to see me talk about on Fridays, just drop it in the comments. If you've had an experience with something and you want to know a bit more and other stories, maybe you can't find stories on it, just drop it in the comments and I'll see what I can do, and we'll have a little chit chat about that one. But yeah, so Fridays are now dedicated to the paranormal. Anything weird or strange or not necessarily scary. I was sitting here reading up about the Min Light last night, and I swear to God, I freak myself out. I do. Like, this sort of stuff fascinates me, but it freaks me the hell out. And no, I will not be talking about E.T. Nobody mention E.T. to me. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'd know that E.T. is a bit of a phobia of mine. No, I cannot watch the movie. I cannot watch the E.T. movie. He is one creepy little bastard. I ain't going there. I'm not. I was actually sitting here last night and I was doing my diamond painting, trying to get this section here done, and I was reading up on the Min Min light and everything, and you know, encounters, and thinking about everything, and I had this big ass moth and it's just landed right in front of me. Oh my god, I threw the drills at it. I was working like this and I just threw the whole container at it. This moth got drilled. I'm sorry I had to do that. But did that moth die after that? Yes, it did. I killed that moth. It was not getting away with that. So I'm hoping I've still got enough of that colour. It was a green colour I was working with. Yeah, I was working up here somewhere. And yeah, it's just landed like right there, and I've just gone, ah! And I've sort of thrown my dish at it. Oh God. I was a bit freaked out by the Min Min light. It was a Min Min moth. What am I up to? 9. So I think I'll learn better than to read up while I'm trying to do my drilling, in case something freaks me out. Hope yous are all doing well today. I didn't even say that at the start. I just wanted to jump into this Min Min light. Hope everybody's having a good day. I really do. Well, I think that might be it from me, guys. I'm going to keep going with my froggy for a little bit. And, oh, one other thing before I go. I'm meant to have, and I was hoping they'd show up today so I could do a unboxing, but they haven't showed up. Is my order from DP with sparklers. All my extra drills that I ordered in the crystals, and I think I've got a couple of AB drills, and I'm dying because that was a massive order that I've ordered. Massive order. So I'm hoping they show up Monday and I can do an unboxing video on Monday for that, because they are going to be so pretty. They are going to be so pretty. Oh, and you'll never guess what I did yesterday. I did a DAC order. Yes, another one. You might have seen it on my Insta. I'm on Instagram, by the way. It's the Diamond Duchess. Just look me up. I've got the same logo of the skull with the pink flowers around it. That is mine. My logo at the moment till I change it. I want to go proper logo. I just don't know what. I might design something. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah. I did a DAC order. I got another pen, and I got the ones that I got from DAC was So Many Books, So Little Time. That's the Randall Spangler one with the big stack of books with the two little, I think it's 2 little draglings, and the kitty cat peeking out from behind the stack of books. And they've got cookies. I think that's what attracts me to those little dragons, is they love their cookies. Because I like cookies. We all like cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. So I got that, and I also got it's the one with the Cocker Spaniel puppy in the cup blowing the bubble, and it's got the marshmallows around the bottom of the cup. I ordered that for a friend of mine. It's her birthday coming up, so I got that for her, and the pen that I got is for her as well, because she's never done a Diamond Art Club before. They're a bit out of her price range, so they don't fit into her budget. So usually when, you know, birthdays, Christmases, things like that, she just asks us for diamond paintings. Even if they're just a cheap one, she doesn't care. I'll try and get her a desk though. She needs a decent desk for it all. At the moment, her daughter's stolen her desk for all her schoolwork. But that's okay, schoolwork's more important. But yeah, I wanted to sort of treat her and get her a Diamond Art Club, so I had my $100 Diamond Art Club voucher. So I got the one that I wanted, and I got her the Spaniel puppy in the cup for her birthday. And if I'm not worried about her watching this, because she doesn't really watch my channel, because she doesn't really get on any of the platforms. She has a simple phone. She's not techie. She doesn't do Facebook or anything like that. Her daughter, on the other hand, does. But I said to her last night when I went to bingo, I went to bingo last night. I forgot to tell you all, I went to bingo last night. I think I won like $20. That's okay. Pays for my bingo next week. I go because it's fun, not to win. I just go because I like going, and I'm an old bitch like that. No, I'm not old. Come on guys, I'm only 38. 39 next month. And I'm not telling you when next month. I don't do birthdays, so nobody say happy birthday. So yeah, so I got her a Diamond Art Club, and I showed her at bingo last night. I thought, if she doesn't like it, I'll keep it. And I just sort of showed her the picture, and I said, oh, I ordered this today. And I showed her the one of the Spaniel in the cup, and she went, oh, isn't it cute? I said, do you like it? She went, I love it, that is so cute. I said, good, because it's yours. She went, hey. Oh, and I bought it for you. I said, if you didn't like it, I was going to keep it. That wouldn't have worried. Oh, that's a broken drill. That's a half drill. So, whoops. Can we all see that? Can we all see that? Are we seeing that? That's still blurry. It's like a half drill concaved thing. Now I've got to find that again there. So yeah, so that's her birthday present out of the way. Righto guys, well I'm gonna, squeaky chair. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna finish this section and then go out and make dinner, and hopefully I can finish this tonight. I probably won't finish this on camera, but when you see me Monday, I will definitely have a new one on the board. So yeah, and I'll do a review of this one over the weekend as soon as I finish it. And then this is getting framed and going to my mum, because it's for her. She loves frogs. So yeah, doing it for mum. Righto guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I had to be a little bit quiet because Barry's out there, he's home. So, okay, have a good weekend guys. I shall see you on Monday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe, not subscribe. I don't even know what subscribe is. But yeah. Right, guys. We know how unco and disorganised I am, and I think I'm really tired at the moment too. So maybe I'll have an early night tonight. Who knows? Chances are I'll just be going to bed at 2 again, like I have been. Anyway, right, guys. See ya. Bye.